So if you're engaged in a process of personal development, personal unfoldment, inner work in any variety, I want to ask you the question, who are you doing that inner work for? Who are you doing your inner work for? And a recent client of mine reached out and said, yeah, I'm doing my inner work for myself. Very empowered, autonomous insight. I'm not doing my inner work anymore for getting some kind of woman or even getting some kind of pay raise or job security. I'm doing it for myself because it is essential and I'm starting to feel better. I'm having amazing insights and it's all about my relationship to myself. And that is a crowning insight and a crowning achievement, I believe. You've moved from a place of subtle psychological dependence, which is if I just transform myself and get myself to be good enough on the inside, then I can have the women, the money, the power, the women, as Scarface put it, and I can make myself feel good and abundant and like I have enough because I finally did enough inner work to attract the external things into my life. So my client has seen through that. No, regardless of whether I have the money, the power, or the women, I cultivate a good relationship to myself. And so I do my inner work for myself. Zip, period, end of discussion. It's not for externalities, it's for me. And a lot of men have this insight, and it's super powerful. Because if you really feel this in all of your body, you are starting to claim yourself as a sovereign being, learning how to feel all of the sublime, beautiful qualities of life within yourself, for yourself, generated by yourself, through meditation, through different kinds of practice. You can generate for yourself and within yourself everything that you could ever hope to feel. And then relating to women, relating with power, relating with career, relating with the outer world, building relationships is done from a place of radical choice and radical giving of your own human gifts and virtues. But I don't think this is the end of the road. So I continue doing my inner work for myself in perpetuity forever. I don't think that's the end of the road, because I think if doing things for yourself is your ultimate motivation and metric, that will eventually start to break down. Because why would I do things for myself? In the short term, if I have a lot of pain on the inside that I'm continually working with and feeling and learning how to transmute, and I'm getting not diminishing returns, increasing returns from that work all the time, great, I'll continue doing that work for myself. But it strikes me that at some point along the line, I got to, and you'll get to a place where doing things just for me has diminishing returns. That motivation can't go on forever. And I think one part of this is because of a sense of meaning or human loneliness. So if you're in this kind of counter-dependence, you've been dependent and attached and woven into externalities in the world and getting your validation from other people, often that's such a painful set of realizations to have that it propels ourselves into this more sovereign frame of mind. We become more autonomous, fueled by not wanting to be dependent anymore. That can give us a lot of traction, a lot of headway. But that starts to run out. The fundamental fuel that's running a lot of your practice starts to go the more you establish yourself as psychologically very independent and sovereign. The other thing that starts happening, if you're practicing very well with meditation and embodiment stuff, is that even your sense of self starts to diminish, which is to say who you are as an ego or a story that you create, who you are as a self-made identity, even that loses its traction, which is you discover, who I am. I'm building forth this monolithic sense of Jordan in the world. He's going to become this and this and this. My grip on wanting to be a different version of me or a particular version of me starts to disintegrate. Actually, am I me? What is Jordan? Because surely he really learned all of these ways of being through all the other people he's had in his life. Is there a sense of soul which is beyond my grasp even to hold and touch? Is there a sense of spirit? Am I spirit? And deep, prolonged meditation practice starts to launch us into these inquiries and has us let go of our identity and autonomy. And that motivation to practice in order to reaffirm myself really, really slips away. So, yeah, there might be moments where you feel uninspired and unmotivated in your practice at some point as your sense of self starts to change. And what I find very useful in this moment is that when I inquire into who I am, actually I find that who I am is made up by a lot of the relationships that I'm in, or a lot of the mentorships or teachers, lineages, institutions that have formed me. I'm also this sense of biological self and sense of soul and spirit that infuses me. And I am also the things that I love, like the frequencies and the energies that I give into the world through my work and my communication. The way that I conduct myself in relationship is also fueled by the things that I love, that uplift me, that I feel a kinship with. And my own sense of self even becomes this multi-dimensional, kaleidoscopic mystery and adventure. Some aspects of myself are really durable and they've been there from childhood. Some people might say, since before my birth. And others are constantly changing. It's like every insight or every new relationship, every thrilling conversation I have with a friend also changes a worldview and adjusts my value sets subtly and somehow. So I'm constantly in flux as well. And do I then do my work just for myself? I sense that I do my work with a renewed vigor and a renewed motivation because I'm in love with other people as much as, or perhaps more than, I'm in love with myself, or I'm in love with a particular vibe or gift that I want to give through my work, which ultimately is in service of other people. And so I can disseminate my work better in the world if I do a particular kind of practice. And so all of a sudden my motivations for doing my practice is no longer for me. It's in terms of how can I give the very essence of the things that I love most in my heart back out to other people. And I practice again for a sense of service. So I'm not practicing, I'm not doing my inner work and my inner practice so that I can get material things for me and fill up the void and and find validation. I'm not doing it so I can become wholly psychologically independent and individualized, but I realize how permeated I am, or I realize how permeated who I am is by so many parts of the world. And so I give myself to practice so that I may revel in, love better, enjoy more, disseminate the aspects of spirit that I love back out into the world. And the sense, therefore, of myself becomes less rigid, less encapsulated for sure, and I start to see myself as just another member of my lineage, or just another node in a network of humans that is doing inner work for the communal pleasure and love and expansion for all. So that's my very personal response to you. Who are you doing your inner work for? And honestly, you might reach a very high level of maturity and development, and you're motivated by all these things at once. Yeah, it's very possible. I don't think anyone belongs exclusively to one of these domains. But what I want to do here is, and this is central to the ethic of my work, continually nudge and expand your sense of self, your sense of story making, your sense of identity making, so that you become larger, more polytheistic in a way, and you look much more closely and intimately at the real nature of identity making, I think there are many more gifts in life when we conceive of ourselves and watch our sense of self-creation through this lens rather than the me lens. Anyway, this might be some way out in the future, but providing a little insight for you to begin to grapple with today. If you enjoy my words, if you enjoy my perspective, make sure you subscribe, not just here on YouTube, but all my latest writing comes out on my Substack. The link is below. I also offer coaching, so you can see a link to my schedule where you can book a one-on-one call if you want to pick my brain about any of the topics on my channel. And of course, if you want to go into yourself and do some of the deep embodiment work that I frequently talk about on the channel, there is my Lover, Outlaw, Trickster, Magician program that you can sign up for today. It's on demand. You can get started with the guided practices, and the link again is below. I'll see you on the next video.